Okay, so VJ asked Telfa a very important POI. It may seem flimsy, but it was quite important that. And Telfa answered that the most probable reason why a US policy will form friendly military relations with North Korea, or not so friendly, but just something like a military alliance, will be when like its aggression and testosterone rates like go down, right? This is it's pointed to the fact that like a non-aggression policy is quite favorable when it comes to having other relations with other countries in the world. Also, he says that having an aggressive policy or yes, having an aggressive policy will make Japan, of course, or any country quite relevant on the global sphere. But Japan is already quite relevant on the global sphere and did not exactly need like an aggressive policy to do that because of a couple of other reasons I will also talk about. So let's look at comparative analysis. Japan adopted this stance to point out like the evils and the abhorrent natures of war itself. Whether the US, after the bombing, killing and causing of deformities for years to come, got the message, we didn't exactly know. But one thing was assured, like the mutually assured destruction, right? So it's a pointer to the fact that whether you are an aggressor or you are just like you have a passive military philosophy, one thing is assured that in the case of war, in the case of friction, both sides will lose the most. So this is the question that we ask from closing government. So the extent where zero or just a little below marginal benefits are what you can achieve. What exactly is the utility of having like an aggressive policy? Because even if you are the aggressor, of course, when in the instance of war you lose, and even if you are like just the reactionary person in the instance of war, you will still also lose. So what exactly is the gains from having like more of an aggressive policy? Also, One thing quite important from closing government is this, that we from closing government do not exactly stand for like reactive principles where like we change our principles or we change our philosophies just for any fickle or everyday reasons, right? Because we believe that a country's sovereignty goes beyond its geographical construct, right? Because it also includes the philosophies and like the principles on which like the country operates, right? So to the extent where a country can switch up at every provocation, we ourselves become like the main underminers of our principles, right? So where we change like whatever we believe in just because of the actions or inactions of another nation, we believe that we are the ones that we are the main problems when it comes to like the whole idea of the sovereignty, because we believe that sovereignty surpasses just our geographical concept. It also transcends into like our philosophies and what we also believe. And so one thing that is quite important is like Japan is not totally against war. That Japan is just not going to be the aggressor by actions or inactions. That's like inactions being like the refusal to develop like nuclear armament. So we understand that every nation owes itself the duty of protecting its sovereignty, and also we feel that every nation is justified in doing anything to protect this. So we see it as some sort of harm's principle that encompasses just, of course, nations and not human beings as we see in the society today. So we feel that if a passive approach ensures that Japan remains in good terms with other nations that are capable of helping it with defense, why not? Because we feel that no matter the kind of war or no matter the kind of war or any military action, like a Jim once analyzed that as a war of warrior, war doesn't exactly exist in a vacuum, right? So there are other factors and like actors that exist, right? So if Japan in any instance comes like into friction and possesses allies that can also work with it in that place, its passive approach, in most cases, even directly or indirectly, has sort of endeared it to some of these allies that will readily protect it. Why should Japan then switch up to an aggressive approach that will most likely cost it or only earn it more sanctions or a couple of more isolation policies from other nations that will most likely help it, right? So, Karim.
Okay, so the presumption is that Japan has a duty to be a role model. With the failing issues of other countries taking up arms and all that, how is this important? And again, why should America not be pacifist, but Japan should be?
Okay, so this is the problem. America or no other country made or tried to force Japan to be pacifist. This was an ideology that they chose of their own. So if Japan chooses to be pacifist but has allies with other countries that are not pacifist, where exactly is the moral fault in that? Because Japan cannot exactly control the moral principles or the moral philosophies on which America works. Just the same way America cannot exactly control the moral philosophies or the military philosophies that Japan owns, like Japan operates on. So there is nothing wrong in Japan saying they will not be aggressors, but forming alliances with other countries that will most likely come to their aid in case of like an attack on them by other would-be aggressors like North Korea. So in response to the peace agreement, a lot of factors do a lot in ensuring the presence of peace. So like I just said, a state need not be totally military inclined to be able to like maintain its sovereignty by virtue of alliances with these other nations, right? So we say that keeping peace and being military passive are not mutually exclusive elements, and we feel this is quite important in today's debate because that's something we get from closing government. OO also said that every country has the right to its own war philosophies. Yes, just as we feel that Japan owes, most importantly, its citizens the obligation of upholding its long-held philosophy, and we feel that consistency is quite important because opening government already talked about like the importance of philosophical consistency, and we feel that this should also fly in today's debate because like we said, philosophies and principles are quite part of the integral part of of a nation's sovereignty, and they should do the most or whatever they can to make sure that their sovereignty is not undermined by another country's inactions or inactions.
The point is, for instance, if you are like a Christian and you believe that you should never do something, in the face of threat to yourself or to your life, you say because you are philosophically consistent, you don't defend yourself.
See, Telfa, the thing is, even if Japan is militarily aggressive, the threats will exist. If Japan is militarily passive, the threats will exist. If Japan is military aggressive or militarily passive, in case of any friction, both countries will lose by virtue of the mutually assured destruction that opening government already tells you. So where exactly is like even if there is any utility at all, it is most likely going to be marginal because even at the time of the Nagasaki bombing, Japan did not exactly have any nuclear armament at the time, and Pearl Harbor bombing was not nuclear, right? But hey, Pearl Harbor bombing was not nuclear, but the fact that the US actually lost in that friction and Japan also lost in that friction is the pointer to the fact that most countries or both countries will actually lose in the case of any friction of some sort. We've been able to like talk about the philosophical consistency just as we've talked about like the fact that war does not exactly exist in a vacuum, and that allies also play like a major role. And we also talk about the comparative analysis and talk about how mutually assured destruction will exist on both ends, and how military aggression does not exactly solve the problem of peace in today's world. Thank you very much.